well. If you wouldn't look at the lovely diamond armor of mine. Yep, I have finished the mine, at least all the way down to the deep slate layer here. Lit up by the copper lanterns and just decorated by the different leaves. Just to make it a bit more interesting, a bit more exciting. It stops here at deep slate though, where I got to the cave here, which I have explored. I found a zombie villager, got some more diamonds, full set of armor, full set of tools, and then I went and got them all enchanted as well. They're all protection 4. I would like to get unbreaking on these preferably, and at least feather falling on the boots. I improved my sword a bit, fairly decent sword now. I've got infinity on my bow, so that chicken farm, not as useful, maybe good for food, but I don't need infinite feathers anymore. Also, while I was working on getting my gear improved, I had a willing trader show up. And he just so happened to have a pumpkin for sale. So I bought it. Which means that I can now carve this thing, grab some pumpkin seeds. Those are going to be essential. Plant them over here. Speed up their growth. Yeah, second pumpkin with the seeds, just to make sure. And use that to spawn in a couple of copper golems. So hopefully now we can get organising my chests. I'm just going to start dumping things I don't need in here, and they can organise it. So now I need to organise these chests, so they actually know where to put things. I'm going to get on with that, and then come back when that's all sorted. Okay, so now, thanks to these little guys, this chest is completely empty, as are the ones out here. You can see they're now gone. And these chests are now somewhat organised. As we can see, there is some level of logic, and as long as I'm using these resources, I can just dump stuff in here and they'll somewhat clean it up. They probably need to be supervised to a certain extent, just to make sure that if there's items that they don't have to put anywhere, kind of there's nowhere for it to go. But other than that, this has worked out pretty well. Wait, where are you going? They were fine until they didn't have any work to do. They're just wandering around a bit more now. That's fine. Don't. Okay, at least he closes the door behind him. Is he going to come back? Oh, he is. He's coming back. Look, there he is. He likes to walk around outside, apparently. He likes to walk down here and back. Look, he's going to do it again. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. There he is. Hello. He's going to walk to, like, right here. Spin around, apparently. You okay, mate? You okay? And then he's going to head back inside. And just repeat, rinse and repeat. Okay, well, you're keeping this place sorted, so that's fine. The quartermaster's house is now actually functional. Great, thanks guys. But now we've got those copper golems sorted, it's time to move on to our main project for today, which is going to be right here, in this stretch of land over here, just on the other side to the town. My idea is the main town, with like a woodcutting building there or something maybe. And then I'll just add some more houses around here, kind of curving around this ridge here. But over here, this is going to be like the farm area. So I'll be able to move the animals I've got into pens around this area so that they're not just awkwardly positioned in, especially these little guys here, in cobblestone boxes. But then here, I want to have my wheat farm, so I can move that, and a pumpkin farm, and just like sugarcane, all those kind of farms right here. And for that, I want to sink it into the ground slot and have a little arch structure popping out of. If you think of like those polytunnels you get growing crops, so I reckon we should just start to clear that out. So now you can see we've moved our wheat from over there to here, like so, sunk into the ground a bit. Same thing for these pumpkins. We've got those growing up here, and the sugarcane just down here. So I think now we want to just start to detail this out a bit, so it's not just a hole in the ground. And for that, I've got some resources here. So let's start with the granite. Here we go. I feel like this looks a lot more intentional now than just a hole in the ground. And we have the same thing set up for the pumpkins and also for the sugarcane. So the next thing we want to do is work out the kind of arch we want coming over this thing. Is it going to be curved? Is it going to be more like those skylights you can get, like ceiling lights in houses, which have kind of a triangular shape? We could try that out, see how that looks as well. So here is the curved approach, and I say I quite like it, but let's just try the other one as well, the more skylight one. Yeah, I don't think that one's going to work quite as well. I think that's just going to look to get a nice shape. It's not, it's going to be too big and clunky for the space. So I definitely prefer this curved design, and I think it looks a lot nicer. Although maybe, could I try it one block taller? Yeah, I think I like that. And I could even have these lower ones like I was thinking about having it curved down, so I could even have these lower ones like here. So it's kind of curved. That could work. Okay, let's mock out the shape of this then. Okay, and how do we think this looks? Yeah, I think I like it. I like the little shape we've got of it curving down at the ends. Let's get it from a bit of a distance. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. How does it look from the inside? Oh yeah, I do like that. I do like this structure above. I like that. Okay, so now we have this framework. We can start filling in with glass, and I did go and spend the time to get a silk touch pick between these two clips because I don't want to misplace the glass and then have to redo it. I'm using regular glass along with white stained glass. I wanted to also use the light grey stained glass, but I have no way to get black dye in this world except from like getting ink stacks from fishing, and I'm not that bothered about it. Or I could, like, you know, kill a wither and use it to get wither roses. That's another option I'm definitely going to be doing. So instead I'm just going to go and use these colours. That gives us an idea of the rough shape. I would love slabs of glass right here, which is not a thing, unfortunately. Mojang, please add slabs of glass if you're, by some miracle, watching my YouTube video. Scatter in a bit of, like, variation into the... almost like a sheen. Reflection here and there. And kind of like stripes, almost. And if we add some, like, details like this, I just need to play around and see what looks good. I think adding a few places add some like details of the glass panes, but don't go overboard. Yeah, I think that sells the greenhouse effect. Again, you can probably chuck some like panes, give it a bit more variety. I think that looks good. So now we just need to flip this onto the other side, like so. We now have it mirrored on both sides. It looks pretty cool from the inside as well. Like, it looks like a kind of glassy greenhouse thing. Now I think we just want a few more details. One such detail I did want to add was in here, putting in some like support beams, like so. Would they look better? Yeah, I think they look better stripped, but like that. So on each of these, add a support beam, add some like leaves hanging down. Because even though these are like dying leaves, it's kind of sad. It would be cool to have them like look actually alive. But I find this just adds so much to these kind of builds. If you just have a bit of leafage coming down. Now, what I would really like to have, if it were possible, unfortunately it doesn't seem to be, would be to have azalea leaves, because they don't decay, they don't change colour in different biomes, and so it'd probably look really good in here. Unfortunately for me, I don't have any. I don't think they spawn here, so I'm not going to make use of those. But even then, just with these leaves, even though they look a bit dead, it just brings that extra life from both the inside and the outside. I think it looks pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Of course, we then want to take our copper lanterns and hang them around the place just to light this whole area up nicely. Gonna hang one from there, maybe two by the entrance, and use these as like supports in some places, like so. Just, you know, add a bit of variation in. You can add these lightning rods as like a little sprinkler system going through the building. And now we come in here with a nice little sprinkler system, I guess. These are kind of just floating, so it'd be great if I could have a chain or something hang down. There you go. I think that looks a bit better having that there. It looks somewhat less stupid. Okay, so now we have the first of 3 greenhouses done, and I'm quite happy with how it looks. I like it being sunk into the terrain, and isn't it just beautiful from here? I honestly really like this and how it's come out. I think it's honestly come out better than I could have expected. So now, as I run back for safety to sleep through the night, the next thing I just need to do is make 2 more of those for the pumpkins and for the sugarcane, and then we can see how it all looks together. So I'm gonna head and do that now, and I'll see you guys when that's done. And here we are. The greenhouse, not just for wheat, not just for pumpkins, but for sugarcane as well. And just like that, we have ourselves 3 good quality manual farms. And now, yes, I could probably have found redstone. I probably have enough redstone to automate some of this stuff and make this a bit easier on myself. But that was not the purpose of these farms. ultimately at this point I have enough pumpkins for what I need. I really just need them for a few golems and probably one in the end, just in case, because I always have to end them in the end, not the Ender Dragon. Wheat I needed mainly to breed up the cows, which I've mostly done now, and having some extras good, but I don't really need more than this probably. I've still got loads in my chests. And again with sugarcane, the main thing I needed it for was books for enchanting table and all that stuff, which is now done. I don't need much else of this. So yet again, this is all just mainly decorative at this point to kind of fill out the world and give me a bit of an extra supply if I need it. As you can see, especially with sugarcane, this is suboptimal. The sugarcane here is not going to be able to grow to its full height, but that is fine. It doesn't really matter because it's really just here for decoration. Yeah, overall, I am very happy of how these turned out. I can definitely see some inspiration I took, kind of subconsciously, I kind of took inspiration from Green Starter Base this season of Hermitcraft. It's a similar design with the wood frame and the glass, but I think I'm quite happy how it turned out, and it feels so cool from the inside, as I already showed. I really do like all of these from the inside, and I added this little step here before you get to actual dirt, because I just kept trampling crops as I try to walk down the stairs. So I'll try to fix that there as well. The final thing I think we want to work on today is some pens for our animals, because right now there's some cobblestone boxes, and it feels like since we've been doing farms anyway, maybe we should work out the paths of this area and how it connects up, and then add some farms, maybe some animal pens like here. But I reckon we do this last bit as a time lapse for this episode. So let's go and hit it. And here we are with our little path that goes all the way along, around the drill, down here, to our new animal pens. We have one for the pigs, with a little bit of mud for them to wallow in, and a water trough, and a little bit of shelter here. Similarly for the cows, they've got a water trough and are very loud and have some shelter. And also for the chickens, they've got a chicken coop, sorta. It was hard to build something at this scale, okay? But they're all nicely in there. And the path continues, links up to our sugarcane farm, our wheat farm, and ends at our pumpkin farm right here. And I think this just ties the base together much more. It feels much more like alive and lived in, rather than just some scattered things here and there. If we come up this way, there's space to expand the town over here. And there is also, on this side, past the quartermaster's house, there is space here for what we'll probably build next episode, being the like lumberyard style building. And then it links up to the mine. Now, that was actually going to be the end of the episode. However, there's one last thing to quickly do, because you see, near the end of that time lapse, this guy showed up. And normally, there's one thing you do with these guys, but in a One Biome world, they're actually quite useful, because they can give me things I can't normally get. Specifically here, moss blocks. I've bought some moss blocks from this guy. Do you remember, like, earlier in the episode, I was complaining about how I'd like the leaves over there to be from azalea bushes because they would still be green? Well, now that we have moss blocks, we can just place one down and we bone meal it. We get moss, but we also get a flowering azalea, which we can then take and bone meal to make one of these trees. And then use these shears to collect all these lovely green leaves that I can use in my building. Not to mention that we then also get rooted dirt from it that we can use for paths and stuff, maybe. I mean, it's not, you don't get much rooted dirt. So now we can just get to go through all our greenhouses and replace the leaves with a much more vibrant colour. Oh, I think that just looks so much nicer, when you agree, to have the nice bright foliage with a few flowers as well. Oh, it looks so much better. And there's the sugarcane done as well. I'll be honest, I think this looks nicer when the sugarcane isn't fully grown. When it's fully grown, it's just way too tall and kind of blocks out the nice view inside. But that's fine. It is a farm, so technically that is what I want. And let's not forget our little plants over here. Those could definitely do with a little bit of azaleaization. Is that a word? Well, it is now. That looks much nicer. The leaves down here in the mines, I think I'm going to leave as kind of that dead look. I think it probably will actually work better with that aesthetic rather than these azalea ones. Thank you, buddy. You've been very helpful in making this space look better. Yeah, he doesn't care. He only cares if I give him emeralds. And with that, this will be the end of the episode. Thank you for everyone for watching. I really enjoyed this project, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. I could just like sit in here with the leaves falling and the ambience going on outside for ages. It's so nice in here. I'm really happy with what I made. But yeah, that will do it for today's episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.